What's going on YouTube? Manadorks are back again today, and today I'm actually bringing you my upgraded, fully optimized Vivi Ornitier CEDH deck. I firmly believe this would be classified as a bracket 5. He performs like a champ. There's like some super expensive options, of course, I didn't get. I mean, Volcanic Island, it's like $500, $600. But other than that, like besides the super expensive land and some staples, this deck is as optimized as it can be. And I just wanted to break it down to you guys and show you how I've upgraded it versus my last video. So, of course, the commander's still Vivi Ornitier. I upgraded to the new art. It's really fancy. But going over Vivi again, of course, he's Izzet Commander for a red, blue, 1, 0/3 wizard. With 0, add X mana of any combination of red or blue where X is Vivi's power. Activate only once during your turn and once each turn. And then whenever, of course, you cast a non-creature spell, he gets a 1/1 counter and does a damage to each opponent. So we'll start off with creatures. And the 1-drop creature I run, Ragavan Nimble Pilfer. This is the new ad. I believe this can come in clutch. If you dash him in early, you can get stuff off your opponents, and the fact that he ramps you out some treasures is really nice early game. And so for a 1 red 2/1 monkey pirate, yeah, it's really nice. And then his dash course is, of course, 1 red 1 generic, and he gives him haste, and he bounces to your hand at the end of the turn. The 2-drops we run, Snapcaster Mage, Thassa's Oracle. Snapcaster Mage is a 1 generic 1 blue flash 2/1 human wizard. And with this creature, or when this creature enters, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard, it gains flashback. Flashback is equal to its original CMC. So it's really nice to get another tutor or another counter if you need it, etc. Just really good to keep yourself going. Thassa's Oracle, 2 blue, 1/3 merfolk wizard. Creature, when Thassa's Oracle enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. Put up to 1 of those top cards of your library and the rest on the bottom in any order, or in a random order, sorry. And if X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. Of course, Thassa's Oracle is one of the win cons in the deck that I've added. It comes in clutch. If Vivi can't get the job done with Burn, we'll try to win with Thassa's. Some 3-drops we run. Bergi, God of Storytelling, Simian Spirit Guide, Lab Maniac, and Tandem Lookout. We'll start with Bergi. 1 red 2 generic creature god, 3/3. With whenever you cast a spell, add red mana. Until the end of the turn, you don't lose mana as steps and phases end, or you don't lose this mana. And then creatures you control boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. He's good ramp, or she's good ramp, and just your spell slinger, so you can get a lot of mana. But I'm more focused on this side. The Hardfell Horn of Bounty for red and 4 legendary artifact. Discard a card, exile top 2 cards of your library. You may play those this turn. This I get more utility out of if I have dead lands in my hand that I don't need. I drop them, exile 2, you can get spells off of it, and it just helps fuel Vivi's button. And all in all, it's just a great combo extender. Simian Spirit Guide, 1 red 2 generic 2/2 Ape Spirit. Remove Simian Spirit Guide from your hand to add from the game to add a red mana to your mana pool. Just fast mana to help try and speed out Vivi as quick as possible. We want to get Vivi out by turn 1, turn 2, and just try to go off. Laboratory Maniac, 1 blue 2 generic human wizard, 2/2. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. So that's another alternate win con in case we lose Thoracle. Labman comes in clutch because we do have a lot of Curiosity draw effects, so we can try and deck ourselves out and use him to win the game. Tandem Lookout, 1 blue 2 generic human scout creature, 2/1 Soul Bond. You may pair this creature with another unpaired creature when either enters the battlefield. They remain paired for as long as you control both of them. As long as Tandem Lookout is paired with another creature, Each of those creatures has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. So, of course, that's one of the curiosity effects for Vivi. Vivi pings 3 people, you draw 3 cards, and just keeps your gas in your hand going. The 1 5-drop we run, Quicksilver Elemental. This is, of course, the infinite loop extender. 2 blue, 3 generic elemental, 3/4. Has pay a blue. Quicksilver Elemental gains all activated abilities of target creature until the end of the turn. If any of those abilities use that creature's name, it's this name instead. And then you may spend blue manas or mana of any color to pay the activation cost of Quicksilver Elemental's abilities. So, of course, we're going to steal Vivi's activated ability, or copy it, and use the Vivi button for free to get 2 blue, 1 red, and then use a blue to copy again and again and again. Just get your infinite mana to storm off. The 1 6-drop we run, Conjugated Sphinx, 2 blue, 4. Creature Sphinx, 4/6. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. And of course, this is a flying creature, so it helps deal with flying attackers against you. But also just a great draw engine. And you're able to get it out relatively quick with Vivi. And then the only 7-drop creature we run, Hallbreaker Horde. It's part of another infinite loop we can create for infinite storm, infinite mana. But for 2 blue, 5, 7, 8, flash, this creature spell, or this spell can't be countered. And whenever you cast a spell, you may choose up to 1, return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So just playing them 0-drop artifacts, bouncing them, getting mana, getting infinite Vivi pings, infinite storm count, just really, really nice. All right, on to some instant spells. The 1 0-drop we run, Pact of Negation. Of course, 0. Pact of Negation is blue, counter target spell. At the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 2 blue, 3. If you don't, you lose the game. If you can't come up with that kind of mana, there's a problem. Some cantrips we run. So run Mystical Tutor, Brainstorm, Opt. Mystical Tutor, 1 blue, search your library for an instant sorcery card, reveal it, shuffle, put that card on top. Great to fetch your game-ending spells. Brainstorm, 1 blue, draw 3, put 2 on top of your from your hand on top of your library in any order. Another way to extend your hand, keep your plays going, and all these are good for Vivi. Opt, 1 blue, instant, scry 1. So look at the top card of your deck, keep it on top or bottom, draw a card. So it just replaces itself and helps you set up next plays. We have Magical Damper for a blue. Target creature gets +1/+1 and hexproof until the end of the turn. So gives Vivi some protection, gives them a little extra power to hit for that Vivi button. So we have Swan Song, Flusterstorm, Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, and an Offer You Can't Refuse. Swan Song, 1 blue, counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird flying creature. Well worth the giving them a 2/2 bird if you can stop something that can really mess your plans up. Flusterstorm, 1 blue, counter target instant or sorcery unless its controller pays 1. And of course, it says it has the storm ability, so with this deck, it pops off like crazy. Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast do the exact same thing for a red mana. Choose 1, counter target spell if it's blue, destroy target permanent if it's blue. Same with Red Elemental. Counters blue spell being cast, destroys blue card in play. Then Offer You Can't Refuse for a blue, counter target non-creature spell. Its controller gets 2 treasure tokens. You can use this on yourself to give yourself some treasure, along with casting multiple cards to get Vivi's counters up and pinging people for some damage. Two drops we run. Dramatic Reversal, Psych Rift, Brain Freeze, Thrill of Possibility. So we have Dramatic Reversal as a blue generic instant. Untap all non-land permanents you control. Of course, this pairs well with an artifact that's in the deck that I'll be going over. The Ishralon Scepter gives you infinite mana. Psych Rift, 1 blue generic instant, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. And of course, it has its overload. It's a good board wipe to keep you going and slow down your opponents. Brain Freeze, 1 blue, 1 generic. Target player mills 3 cards. Storm, this is another one of the win cons. So we can try to deck everyone out, or you can deck yourself out and get one of your win cons into your graveyard and cast it from there. Thrill of Possibility. 1 red, 1 generic. Instant. As an additional cost to cast this card, discard a card, draw 2 cards. So just trying to refill your hand with some draws. An instant spell, of course, getting Vivi the counters it needs. And just really good to have. Then we have Think Twice, Mana Drain, and Pyretic Ritual. Think Twice, 1 blue, 1 generic instant, draw 1 card. So you're drawing 1 for a blue, but it also has flashback for a blue, 2 colorless. Let's draw another card. I keep it in here, even though it's a little bit more expensive in the CMC and draw effect. It's not the best because I can cast it multiple times and Vivi sees it, and it just keeps me going. Mana Drain, 2 blue, instant, counter target spell. At the beginning of your next main phase, add colorless mana equal to that spell's mana value. So really good for Vivi, get you a mana extension for your next play, and it shuts down any spell. Pyretic Ritual, 1 red, 1 generic. For instant, that gives you 3 red to your mana pool. It's just another fast mana card, or ramp spell, to help get Vivi out quick or to extend a play, and Vivi just sees all these, getting counters, adding more mana. 3 drops we run. Fierce Guardianship, Deflecting Swat. Fierce Guardianship, 2 generic blue, instant. If you control your commander, of course it's free. Counter target non-creature spell. And then Deflecting Swat, 2 generic red, of course if you control your commander, it's also free. You choose new targets for a target spell or ability. So both really good in the deck. Both are must-haves. Then we have Sink into Stupor and Seething Song as more 3 drops. So Sink into Stupor is an MDFC. It's also a land that you can pay 3 life for it to enter untapped. So it's just really good if you need it in the type spot. Also 2 blue, 1 generic, return target spell or non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. So it's a good way to get a spell off the stack or bounce something that's troublesome off the board. Seething Song, 1 red, 2 generic. For an instant, add 5 to your mana pool, another mana extension. It just keeps your plays going for another explosive play. 4 drops we run. Gifts Ungiven, Mindbreak Trap. Gifts Ungiven, 1 blue, 3 generic, instant. Search your library for up to 4 cards with different names. Reveal those. Target opponent chooses 2. Put those chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand. Shuffle your library. So it's a good way to, you can fish out all 3. If you don't have a curiosity, fish out all 3 of your curiosities and Underworld Breach to guarantee that you get them. Or you can fish out 3 of your win conditions and Underworld Breach, you guarantee you get your win conditions. Mindbreak Trap, 2 blue, 2 generic, instant. If your opponent casts 3 or more spells this turn, you may pay 0 rather than the spell's mana cost. Exile any number of target spells. So it gets rid of stuff off the stack, and even then, if they don't do a bunch of spells, but they have something that says can't be countered, just exile it off the stack with Mindbreak Trap and push for that win. And then the only 5 drop instant we run. Force of Will, 2 blue, 3. Instant, you may pay 1 life and remove a blue card from your hand instead of paying Force of Will's casting cost. Effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used to counter the loss of life. And counter target spell. So, just another free counter spell that's really good that you must run. Alright, we'll go into sorceries next. Starting with some cantrips. Gitaxian Probe, Preordain, Faithless Looting, Ponder. Gitaxian Probe is a Phyrexian Blue for a sorcery. Look at target player's hand, draw a card. So it just gives you some insight, spread some knowledge, and Vivi sees it, counters, mana, what's not to love. Preordain, 1 blue, scry 2, draw. Another really great card for Vivi, and you lets you sneak peek, drawing more cards, really good. Faithless Looting for 1 red, sorcery, draw 2, discard 2, and it has flashback for a red and 2. Another spell that you can cast multiple times that gets you more cards in your hand, cycles through your deck. Just love having those options. Ponder for a blue, And a sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. You may shuffle your deck if you don't like what you see, draw a card. So it's all really, really good stuff. And then the 1-drop tutor we run, Gamble. Search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, discard a card at random, then shuffle. So for a 1 red, for a tutor, for anything at the risk of discarding it, I mean, it comes with the territory, but it's a great card to run in Vivi. I absolutely love it. It's fast, it gets you what you need, and most of the time it'll probably succeed. So for 2 drops, we only have 1. Merchant Scroll. For a blue generic sorcery, search your library for a blue instant or interrupt card. Reveal that card to all players, put it to your hand, reshuffle your library afterwards. So it's another tutor that searches for a blue instant. So it just comes in handy to get some of your counter spells, some of your draw spells, whatever you need in the situation. 3 drops we run, Jessica's Will, Slimer's Feast. Jessica's Will is 1 red, 2 generic sorcery. Choose 1. If you control your commander, after you cast a spell, you may choose both. So add red for each card in target opponent's hand, or exile top 3 cards of your library, and you may play them this turn. Just really good combo extender. And since Vivi's free cheap, you'll normally have him out there with Jessica's Will. So it's just really nice to have. Slimer's Feast is just another version of Windfall. 2 generic, 1 blue. Sorcery, each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. So it's just a good way to reset your hand. If someone tutored for something, didn't play it this turn, you can make them get rid of it. Just, I love it. Then the 9-drop rerun. Expropriate, 2 blue, 7 sorcery, Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, you get an extra turn. For each money vote, the player that voted for money, you can steal something off their board. And then you'll exile Appropriate. It's a really good card. Helps you steal something. And if they want to give something of theirs hexproof, they need to respond to the Expropriate. Because once it resolves, you're stealing stuff in order of votes. So it's really nice. And it's a good way to try and end the game. A new addition, Enter the Infinite for a 4 blue 8, very expensive CMC, but with Vivi it normally comes out relatively easily. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library, so you just draw your whole deck, put 1 card in your hand on top. You have no max hand size until your next turn. The whole idea is to Thoracle with this, or Lab Man. It just gets you a win regardless. That's the whole plan of Enter the Infinite. And then finally, the 1 X spell we play. Crackle with Power, 2 red, triple X. Sorcery. Crackle with Power deals 5 times X damage to each up to X targets. So if we have infinite mana, you kill everyone. If you invest 15 into X, that's 25 damage to 5 targets. Or 3 targets, I'm sorry. I can't math today. But all in all, it's a really powerful X spell that I enjoy. And it's another way to try and end the game. If you can't use Thoracle, if you can't use Vivi's Burn, if you can't use the Brainstorm, or Brain Freeze, sorry. Get both those mixed up. But it's just another way to win the game. All right. On to some artifacts. Some of the best parts here. So, fast mana, we have Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox, Mox Amber, Jeweled Amulet. Lotus Petal, 0, tap, sack it, get a mana of any color, and play this ability as mana source, so it's another way to cheat out, or get Vivi really fast. Chrome Mox, 0. Imprint, when this artifact enters, you may exile a non-artifact, non-land card from your hand. Add 1 mana of any of the exiled card's colors. Mox Amber is, I might have said Mox Amber on this as well, but Chrome Mox. Oh, I don't know anymore. But Mox Amber is 0. Tap, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures or planeswalkers you control. So it's another really good rock if you have Vivi out, and plus it's free, so it's a good way to get Vivi to pop off. Jeweled Amulet, 0. pay 1 tap, put a charge counter, and note what type of mana you use to pay that 1. Then you can tap it, remove the charge counter, add a mana of the last type that you used to put a charge counter on this. So just another way to get fast mana out there. And it's another 0 drop that Vivi can benefit off of. Next we have Everflowing Chalice, Spellbook, Urza's Bauble, and Mishra's Bauble. Everflowing Chalice 0, multi-kicker 2, pay 2 any amount of times. It gets a counter on it for every 2 you pay. Add a colorless for each charge counter. So sometimes you'll invest into it, sometimes you'll just play it for free. And we got Spellbook, 0 drop, you have no max hand size, just another free spell that Vivi can ping off of, and it keeps your hand full from having to discard. Urza's Bauble, 0, tap, sacrifice it, choose a card at random from target player's hand, look at that card, ignore this ability if that player has no cards left, but you draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep. So the 0 drop that you can peek at a card in someone's hand that gives you a draw. Really nice. Mishra's Bauble is 0, tap, sack it, look at top card of target player's deck, and then draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep. So both of these are really nice. Peeking, drawing, just refilling themselves, all for 0. Some 1 drops we run. We have Soul Ring, Mana Vault. Soul Ring, 1 generic artifact, tap for 2. Mana Vault, 1 generic. It does not untap during your untap phase and remains tapped during your upkeep. It'll deal damage to you. You may pay 4 to untap it during your upkeep. And then it taps for 3 colors. So more fast mana. Just keep yourself going. If you open right, Vivi comes out and you play a few spells, it's just great. Then we have Sensei's Divining Top and Lava Spur Boots. Sensei's Divining Top is 1 generic artifact. Pay 1, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order, and then tap, draw a card, put Sensei's Top on top of your deck. So it's a good way to fish through your deck to find your curiosity effects, way to draw a card to replace itself, and you'll be able to recast it to get more Vivi counters. Just really nice. Lava Spur Boots is another new addition for 1 generic artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/0 and has haste and ward 1. So give Vivi a little extra power, give him a little bit of protection, and it's a 1 to equip. Just really nice. 2 drops we run. Arcane Signet, Isharon Scepter. Arcane Signet, 2 generic, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your commander's identity. So it's just another mana extender, keep you going. Isharon Scepters, 2 generic artifact imprint. So when it comes into play, you remove an instant or an instant card with CMC 2 or less from your hand from the game that is imprinted on this. You may pay to tap, copy the imprinted instant spell, and you may play the copy without paying its mana cost. So I believe that is casting it a copy, which Vivi will see. I'm not too sure on the ruling, but if it does work like that, it's really good. But if not, it's still busted. You use this with Dramatic Reversal. You got infinite mana, infinite untaps. It's just really good. Another way to keep yourself going without Quicksilver. The 1 3-drop rerun, Basalt Monolith, is 3 generic mono artifact. Tap to add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. It does not untap during your normal untap phase. You can spend 3 mana to untap it, and since it's an older printing, tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt. But it's just another way to get some more mana out there for 3, and the fact that you can make itself go infinite by itself. You don't gain any benefit, but it's just fun to do. Just tap, untap, tap, untap, tap. If you had Kenan, the Simic commander, this goes infinite like nuts. And then the 1 4-drop is the One Ring. 4 generic legendary artifact, indestructible. When it enters, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything. There's a way to get infinite protection with this deck using Hallbreaker Horror. It's just really nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life for each burden counter on it, and you can tap, put a burden counter, then draw a card for each burden counter. So draw engine, protection, really nice. Now on to the enchantments. The 1 drops we run. Curiosity, Mystic Remora. Curiosity, of course, is the key piece for Vivi. Just 1 blue enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. I mean, Vivi needs this to pop off, so really good for a 1-drop, and Vivi pinging multiple people, getting multiple draws. Mystic Remora. 1 blue enchantment, cumulative upkeep 1. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays for. So a draw engine for you, and most of the time people aren't going to pay the 4. And it's pretty easy to keep up with that upkeep. Plus, you can return it to your hand with Hallbreaker Horror, and it's just really nice. The only 2-drop we run, Underworld Breach, part of the win con. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the mana cost, plus exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. So for the turn, you're trying to pop it off, play everything from your graveyard. Normally this goes with the Brainstorm loop. You would normally use Lion's Eye Diamond. It's kind of expensive, so I don't run it. But it does work decently well with Lotus Petal, as long as you have a few cards, like I believe 6 cards already in your grave when you're casting Lotus Petal. And you can start going off with the Brain Freeze on yourself, decking yourself out, getting the Storm Count, and then blasting everyone out of the game. 3 drops we run, Ophidian Eye, Amphibian Downpour, and Rhystic Study. Ophidian Eye, 1 blue, 2 generic, enchantment aura, flash, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent. You may draw a card. So it's another curiosity draw for Vivi. We have a total of 3 of those. It's just really nice. Amphibian Downpour is 1 blue, 2 generic, flash, storm. So if you could pop off with this. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with a base power and toughness of 1. So this can shut down nasty commanders, nasty creatures that can hurt you, and just keep yourself going with some protection. Rhystic Study, not much explanation needed with this. 1 blue, 2 generic. Enchantment, whenever opponent casts a spell, do they pay the 1? If not, you're drawing a card. So very annoying to deal with, but a must-have for the deck. All right, we're going into some lands now, guys. Starting with the starting town, Reflecting Pool, City of Brass, and Command Tower. So starting town enters tapped unless it's the first, second, or third turn of the game. It's a free tap for colorless, and you can also tap it, pay 1 life to add mana of any color. So it's more of an upgraded version of City of Brass. Reflecting Pool, tap, add 1 mana of any type of land you control could produce. So it's another one of your rainbow lands if you have all your colors. City of Brass, when it becomes tapped, it deals the damage to you. And then, of course, it's a rainbow land. And then Command Tower, arguably the best land. Adds 1 color of any color of your commander's identity. Next, we have Mysterized Village, Otawara Soaring City. Both are new to the deck. Mysterized Village enters tapped unless you control a mountain or a forest. It taps for a blue, and then you can pay a blue, tap it. The next spell in general you cast can't be countered, so it's a good way to give you some evasion. Otawara Soaring City, legendary land, taps for a blue, and then it has Channel, pay a blue 3, discard it, return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So, really nice to bounce something if you really need it, and it's also untapped blue land, so it's just a great staple. I really enjoy having it in the deck. Then we have Bosiju Seltrazal, legendary land, enters tapped. That's the downside, but you may pay 2 life, tap it to add a colorless mana. If that mana was spent on an instant or sorcery spell, it can't be countered, and most of your stuff is instant and sorceries that you try to push for the win in the game. Then we have Urza Saga, Reliquary Tower. Urza Saga, enchantment land. You'll sacrifice it at the 3rd stage. So first stage, taps for colorless. Second stage, you get one of those constructs that Urza makes. It's a 0/0 colorless construct. It gets +1/+1 for each artifact. And then stage 3, you search for an artifact card with a mana value of 0 or 1. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle, so it gets you some of your fast mana. Reliquary Tower taps for colorless, and then gives you no max hand size. Then we have Command Beacon. Of course, it taps for colorless. You can sack it. Put your commander from your hand and put your commander into your hand from the command zone. So it's a good way to avoid some tax if Vivi's been sniped out of the game a few times. It's just good backup. And then finally we have Gemstone Caverns and Ancient Tomb. Gemstone Caverns is in your opening hand and you're not the starting player. You can begin the game with it on the battlefield with a luck counter on it. If you do, exile a card from your hand. Then tap for colorless. If it has a luck counter on it, instead add 1 mana of any color. Then Ancient Tomb is tap, add 2 generic, and it deals 2 damage to you, but can't go wrong with that. Extra mana for a little bit of life loss, that's just a resource. Next we'll go into some dual lands. Of course we run Steam Vents, the shock land of the deck. Enters tapped unless you pay 2 life, and it's an island mountain. Sulphur Falls enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island or mountain. Taps for a blue or red. Shivian Reef, it adds a generic for free, or you can tap it, add a red or a blue. It deals a damage to you, so we've got a pain land. Then we have Training Center, Fiery Islet. Training Center, it enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. Normally in a pod game, you're going to have that. Taps for a blue or red. Fiery Islet's another pain land. Tap, pay a life, add a red or blue, but also has pay 1, tap it, sacrifice it, draw a card. So if you got plenty of mana, you can just get rid of this to try and find something else that'll help you out. And then finally, we have the MDFC Riverglade Pathway. It doesn't enter tapped. It can be in blue land, or of course, it can be Lava Glade Pathway, which is a red land. So really versatile for what you need it to be. And then finally, fetch lands we run. Flooded Strand, Misty Rainforest, Wooded Foothills, and Scalding Tarn. Flooding Strand, pay a life, tap it, sack it, search your library for a plains or an island, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Misty Rainforest, pay a life, tap, sack, search your library for a forest or an island, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Wooded Foothills is pay a life, tap, sack, search your library for a mountain or a forest, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. And then Scalding Tarn, pay a life, sack, and search your library for an island or mountain, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. None of them will enter tapped, so it's a good way to just filter thin your deck and get you the land you need for mana fixing. And then the basic lands we run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 island, and then of course 2 mountain. That's all the basic lands we need. But there you guys have it. That is my fully optimized and upgraded Vivi Ornitier CEDH deck. I will post a link to the deck list on the description. If you guys have any comments, please let us know. And we hope you guys enjoy this deck tech. And we look forward to ramping your experience with the next video. Thank you again for watching.